Welcome to the sit down. We are in week 8, I believe. It is phenomenal. I'm your host, Daniel, and we are going to talk about everything sports today, especially as we head towards the NBA and NHL playoffs. I apologize if my voice is a little weak today. I really don't know what kind of frog got in my throat. Let's head right into NHL playoffs and our first matchup to talk about, that being the Avs. And I have them beating the Kings in 5 games. I think the key here is that the LA Kings have been battling with injuries nearly all season and kind of just limped themselves into the playoffs and into a matchup that they certainly did not want with the Colorado Avalanche. I think that the Avalanche are clearly the better team here. They are a force to be reckoned with. They should be the favorites to win it all. And I think that Nathan MacKinnon has a lot to prove after that Olympic loss. I think he is coming in with a head full of steam. They take care of this in 5 games as the Kings battle injuries with especially key players like Kopitar and Darcy Kemper. The Avs take care of it in 5. Let's move to some moderately hard picks immediately. There's really no other easy ones that I saw on the board. But let's talk about another 1 seed, that being the Hurricanes. They are going to play the Senators, and I think they beat them in 6 games. I think that this is a series that the Hurricanes have maybe up 3-1, and they drop a game, and it's kind of just a wake-up call for the team. I think that, led by Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis, I think this team is a very good offense and is just going to outscore the likes of the Senators. I think the Senators are red hot right now, led by Brady Tkachuk, and I think that Brady Tkachuk is playing some of his best hockey right now. But I think that the Senators fall short here, and I think that it was just matchup dependent. You can't limp. You can't really get into the playoffs. Not necessarily limp. They were playing very good hockey, but now you get into the playoffs and you come against the best team in the Eastern Conference as far as points. And I just don't think that it's a long series to begin with. The Hurricanes were 2-1 against the Senators this season. Hurricanes will take care of it in about 6 games. Let's move to our next one, that being the Oilers. I have them beating the Ducks in 5 games. I think that Connor McDavid is the key player here. I think that he has a target on his back from fans around the NHL. And as we discussed last week in that GOAT conversation, he has to win something for other fans to consider him the GOAT. So I think that in this first round especially, he just takes care of business with the likes of Leon Draisaitl and other players around him like Bouchard. I think that the goaltending is the key factor for the Oilers and has been all season. I think the likes of Ingram and Tristan Jarry are going to be tested. And as a Penguins fan, I really don't like that for the Oilers. But at the same time, I think the Ducks, if they don't play smart hockey, meaning if you give the Oilers, who are the best power play in the NHL, a lot of opportunities to score, they are going to take it. And I think that that's what happens during this series. The Oilers handle it, and they handle it soundly. They don't even give the Ducks a chance to breathe in 5 games. The Penguins are going to play the Flyers in the Battle of PA. I have this going to 6 games, and as a Penguins fan, I have the Penguins winning. And I don't just have the Penguins winning because I'm a homer. I have the Penguins winning because I believe they are the better team. And I think that this Flyers team is very exciting this year, but I think making a trip to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, you are going to be met with a team that is just clearly better and has been all year in the Pittsburgh Penguins, has more veteran experience with guys like Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Carlson. And I think guys like Carlson and Igor Chinnikov are going to show why they've been some of the best Penguins players all year. And going up against goaltending like Dan Vladar, I think that the Penguins just get it done. And I think that it is a series, again, like the Hurricane series and the Senators, where the Penguins are probably up 3-1 in this series, and they drop a close game, and then they take care of business in the 6th game to just let everybody know that they had it, and they just dropped a bad game. I do think that for the Penguins, it comes down to goaltending from guys like Sergei Marashov, who just got brought up from the AHL, and could be somebody like Matt Murray, like we talked about last week, or it comes down to guys like Andrei Silovs, who have been good all season, but have dropped some games and really let the offense into it on the opposing side. In some of them, I think that these games are going to be close. They're going to be gritty. There's going to be lots of fights. And guys like Travis Konechny could lead this team to the next round and really excite the city of Philadelphia, even though we all know they're probably not real contenders. Let's move to our next game, that being the Bruins over the Sabres in 6 games. Yes, I am taking the Bruins to upset the Sabres. The Sabres have been an exciting team this year, led by Tage Thompson. I think that for them, they're probably 1 year out in a conference where you have more experienced teams like the Lightning, like the Penguins, and like the Hurricanes. Not saying that the Penguins would be better than them. The Sabres have clearly shown that they're the better team this year, and the Bruins as well against the Penguins. I think that the Bruins, having Pasta, having McAvoy, and having Zaka, they've kind of figured out their young core, and they've figured out where they want to go in the future with this. At this point, it just comes down to coaching and getting these guys to play to their fullest potential, because honestly, Pastrnak is one of the best players in the NHL. And I think that this franchise is more experienced in the playoffs. They take care of it in 6 games. Let's move to some harder picks. So for me, there was 3 really hard picks that I had to make. And the first one was Utah. I actually have them beating Vegas in 7 games. I think that Vegas has been super disappointing this season. We talked about Mark Stone being out, and just every season he finds a way to get injured, and he's their leader. So I think going forward for this team, they have to figure out, do we want to keep these vets? Do we want to keep our young core? And what direction do we really want to go? Because I don't think they believe that they're going to get into the Western Conference Finals. I think that teams like the Oilers, like the Mammoth, and also the Ducks are probably better teams. I think that the Golden Knights have been very disappointing this season. I'm surprised they even made the playoffs. But to make the playoffs, now you got to really show who you are, with guys like Jack Eichel and Clayton Keller leading the fight. This team should be good. They should beat the Mammoth. I just think that we are going to get a wild upset where the Mammoth, who are this new expansion team, are going to take care of business. I really don't know why. I just have that gut feeling. Let's move to our next one, that being the Stars and the Minnesota Wild. I think this one is very entertaining, and probably maybe the most entertaining other than the next one we're about to talk about. The Stars are probably the second best team in the NHL, and they match up against the Minnesota Wild. I have them beating the Minnesota Wild in 7 games. The Stars just have a defensive advantage. They have a veteran advantage. The Wild are very streaky. They can get hot at any time, but I just don't think the Stars let the Wild get in the way of them matching up with the Avalanche in that next round, which will be super entertaining. For the Stars, they have guys like Jake Yettinger, who is just a game changer this series. He's a veteran goalie who has proven that he amps it up in the playoffs, and I think that's really the difference here. Obviously, the Wild have Philip Gustafsson, who is very good, but I just think that the Stars get it done. They have veterans like Jamie Benn, and they're just the better team. They should win this series. If they don't, the Wild definitely probably got streaky on offense and just took over some games. And that's how it's been this season. The other series that I want to talk about is the Lightning. I have them over the Canadiens in 7 games. Nikita Kucherov is one of the best players in the NHL. If Connor McDavid didn't exist, I think we would have him as the best player in the NHL this season. And having guys around him that are veterans, like Braden Point, like Jake Gensel, and especially like Victor Hedman on defense, I think makes them more of a complete team against a Canadiens team who has had amazing goaltending, guys like Jacob Dobbs, and other guys like Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield leading the charge. This Canadiens team is very good. They're not something to just turn your head at, and that's why I think this goes to 7 games. I think it's based off goaltending. I think there's going to be games where the Lightning just can't score, and even guys like Nikita Kucherov, who are some of, if not the best goal scorer in the league, is going to struggle. And I think that this team is going to disappoint for the first round, but I think going forward, they might have it a little more organized, where they make it into the Eastern Conference Finals, where I eventually have them facing the Hurricanes. But of course, we will wait until next week for those predictions.